Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 4 of the Big Apple Battle, a New York baseball podcast. And today is a national holiday, arguably the best day of the year. And some may say, Ed, us baseball fans are at our happiest because today is baseball opening day and there is hope in the air. Unless, of course, you're a White Sox fan. But, Ed, how are we feeling in this moment? Did you sleep last night? Because I was staring at the ceiling thinking about a Soto bomb all night long.
You were just staring at those little neon stickers on your ceiling in the shape of the constellation Soto. No, shots fired, by the way. Poor Chicagoans getting
I'm
strays out
sorry.
here.
The White Sox, it had to be said, had to be said.
For such a historic franchise, for you to treat them like that, just because you got one player in your miserable existence. Unbelievable.
Ed, why so negative? It's opening day. What's going on? How
I
you
know,
feeling?
baby. Let's go. Feeling hyped. I'm excited. I'm just tired of you guys talking already. So I'm going to have to hear this for the next 6 to 7 months. And I'm just getting myself mentally prepared. But I am stoked, as everyone should be. It is a national holiday, as we all know, or better be in the coming years.
It
I think
should
there's
be.
a petition out there somewhere, right?
No one's going to work on opening day in
No.
2026. We're making it happen.
And that's why they've set it for 3 o'clock, right? So the teachers can come out and you can't really have the disruption of school. But no, I love it. It's the best day of the year. Everything feels new. Hope springs eternal every spring.
Mm.
And I can now finally dust off whatever gear I need to walk outside because I've been staring out the window all winter long, waiting for baseball to start.
Yeah, and I think that's a great segue into just what opening day honestly means to us as fans, right? To the diehard, passionate baseball fan. Like it's nostalgic, it's sentimental. I remember always coming home from school and rushing in and throwing on the Mets versus the Reds. I know they used to open up against the Reds a lot for whatever reason in my childhood. And yeah, as we know, the Mets hold the best opening day record in MLB history. So I was a little spoiled, even though the team kind of stunk
Well,
in
good for
those
you. You've only been around 50 years. You got time to screw that up.
50 years. Oh,
60,
the
sorry.
team.
Excuse me. Yes.
I thought you were talking about me. I'm like, I'm not that old. But no, opening day, it really is just an awesome day to remember what baseball means to you. And to me, it's, not just in America, it's not just a pastime, but I remember learning about the game with my grandpa and my dad, and it's passed down generationally. And, it's something that just means a lot to me and something that I am super passionate about. And I think the best part about it all is it's a long haul, right? It's a marathon, not a sprint like some of these other sports. And the beauty of it all is you have to have patience. You have to be willing to be accepting of some difficult times and some dog days of summer. But at the end of the day, there's always hope. And I think that's the best part about opening day that you alluded to before, Ed.
Hope springs eternal, baby. It's one of those things that it's a term that springs eternal, right? It's evergreen, and every time we come back to spring, to me, April is the new year. I was born in
Mm.
April, so that helps, but I always think of opening day being the start of my year. So this is January to me. This is how the calendar should work. So there you go. April, baby. It's the start of a new year. It means everything that once was good can also be good again. And it's just the reminder that every day you come home, work, school, whatever it might be, for the next 6 months, there will be a ball game on, which you
Yes.
can't say for every other sport, man. There is something about the way baseball accompanies you through your daily life in that summertime. It just, it's a cycle of life that seems to be represented by the sport better than any other sport. And I don't know how else to wax poetic about this
I
beautiful
mean,
game.
you did a great job. I couldn't have said it better myself. I think that's the best part, right? Is just coming home from a difficult day of work, whatever difficulties or struggles you're dealing with in your everyday life, you have a game on, you have your team to support basically every night for half of the year. And it's getting warmer out. The sun is out longer.
Oh, yeah. Get a game of
And
catch in. Just everything feels
yeah,
better, man. You just feel looser,
you
fresher,
you really
happier.
do until you're on a L11, but let's hopefully we don't cross that bridge this year.
You'll be on a few. And I'm not crossing any bridges to hang out with you guys. I'll tell you that.
No, I'll see you at City Field. Don't worry about it.
You will,
Mets
just because
Yankees.
I'm a loser and I'll just go to any baseball game. But yes, you'll see me there at some point, I'm sure.
That's because we won for the third year in a row the best ballpark food. So yeah, you will
You're
be
just gonna
there.
hang your hats on that. I will allude to the last conversation we had. That deep fried rainbow cookie. I bet you it's not even on the menu anymore. That's how
There's actually
disgusting it was.
there's actually some crazy new menu items, and I was telling my wife about it. And one of them is this smash burger with a smash hot dog on it. It sounds a little excessive, but how can you
Ooh.
not try it though?
Oh,
Just
you
try it.
you got to eat. Is it wrapped around it? How does
I
that
don't think
work?
I think it's just like a split hot dog that's pressed on a smash
Oh,
burger with a bunch of toppings, and it sounds
oh
like
yeah. You got
cholesterol, high cholesterol on a bun, but we gotta try
artery
it at all.
clogging, heart attack inducing. Absolutely. What do they call that thing?
The heart attack, probably, if I had a guess.
They call it the Mets fan. This is how miserable every Mets fan will feel after every game. Uh, the equivalent to what your stomach will feel after eating that sandwich.
Yeah, or the Yankee killer.
Whatever. All right, fine. Come up with
But
but you know what? This reminds me of something, Alec. This
please,
reminds me of
please.
something. And it's a gripe that I have, and then we can get on to opening day and all the good that comes with it. But
Hmm.
we talked about Juan Soto documentary last week, and this week, a brand new inclusion to the everyday roster at Citi Field, the five borough mascot race.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Just another gimmick, dude. Your food, whatever, everything but the baseball. You think
Well,
with Juan Soto, you've somehow addressed the baseball. No, no, no. You are focusing on everything that distracts from the actual game. So not even the Mets believe that Juan Soto is going to save your season. Sorry, I'm just telling you that. They're
oh
doing
no, no, no.
everything to get people in there, distract themselves from the on-field product. So if things do go awry, they'll have food to shove in their fat faces, and they'll get to watch a mascot race that has absolutely no business coming to Citi Field. The five borough mascot race, no less. So
Yankee
that
fans
means you're
are
including one that you should not be including.
Yeah, I guess. But the Yankee fans are just so bitter. You always got to find a way to jab, 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 right? You can't just allow it to play out and happen. You got to nitpick at our gimmicks and this Juan Soto
You're giving
experience and the food and all these things that we just can't have it
what
because
jabs are we
you guys
doing?
have to
What
be
jabs are
better.
we giving? We
You
no
have to
no
be the top.
no. We're retorting with baseball is what we're here for, Susan. So why
That's
are
fair.
you focused on everything but? You
Hear me
know?
out. Hear me out. Whatever gimmicks they have going on, whatever mascot races they got, whatever Bronx giraffe they got running around City
No,
Field.
don't tell me the Bronx draft. I'm getting back to that.
Hold up,
Finish your
hold up.
point.
Yeah, I know you're going to get to the Bronx draft. That's why I had to say it. But my point is, whatever they're doing, gimmicks, they got a dunk tank on the field. I don't care as long as they're winning baseball games around that. They could have people running across the field butt naked during the seventh inning stretch. I don't care. Just win the game.
So
That's all that
what if the
matters.
dunk tank is under Juan Soto every time he misses an easy fly ball? I like that idea. It's like
If
under the
he's in the
field, and
dunk
he has to
tank,
fall into the dunk tank, or the home run apple becomes a dunk tank, and you do something with that.
well, the
I don't
first
know.
one in the dunk tank would be Aaron Judge because of the fly ball he dropped in the World Series. Sorry, I had to do
Oh,
it.
jeez. Unbelievable. Nobody even looks back
You
to the
you
fact that
open the
Juan
door,
Soto
Ed.
screwed up that whole World Series. If he doesn't make that brutal play in the outfield in extra innings, we don't have the situation that we do that
It,
Nestor comes in and gives up the grand slam at
yeah, but
all.
he also
Juan
brought you there.
Soto,
He brought you there.
brutal. No.
Okay, you know what?
Okay. You know what?
I
Well, yeah, we're getting
digress.
caught up.
You
I
talk
want to
about
talk
your
about the
Bronx
draft
giraffe.
really quick, and then we'll get back to it. The draft. My issue with the draft is, first of all, get it. Bronx Zoo. Okay, fine. Everything else, you got the Staten Island Ferry, you got the Empire State Building for Manhattan. Queens was, or Brooklyn was a slice of pizza. I don't even remember what they did for Queens. The subway. Point is,
Yeah,
they did everything else made sense in there, geared up in Mets gear, but the Bronx they chose very particularly to not gear up in Mets gear. Fine, understandable. You know, want to give the Yankee nod, wonderful. But again, a giraffe who looks a little cranky or drunk or just slovenly because he's wearing this white T-shirt, no branding on it. It's clearly meant to be a dig at Yankee fans and the representation of the Bronx.
that is the
So
Yankee fan though. The white
great.
T-shirt, slob all over.
Yeah, all right, fine, whatever. We'll talk about mustard on our shirts because that's all we got at our ballpark to eat. But anyway, we have some other great options too. My point is, I don't understand why we get Jeffrey the Giraffe, coming out of retirement from Toys R Us,
Is that his
and
name or?
no, it's just the Toys R Us draft. He looks, I'm telling you, like the drunk old father version of Jeffrey the Giraffe. And again, if you want to ingratiate yourself with Bronx fans, there are plenty of Mets Bronx fans, right?
That's
I
fair.
wouldn't go and knock that borough and just like find a way to subtly, you know, crap all over. Uh, I would argue the best borough. But again, that's just my issue. I can't stand it. Well, I don't really care one way or the other. I just needed to make fun of it. And the fact that they went for that little dig, I just thought was just so Metsian.
Well, the best part about all that, if that's really Metsian to you, just wait until it actually happens, and they're gonna do some gimmick where he like falls or trips or
Oh, he's
you
never going
know
to win. I've
he's
already
never
figured
gonna
that out.
win. That's
Yeah.
exactly what they're gonna do. He's never gonna win the race.
And
So he's
one
gonna
day
be
he'll get
Queens
super
or
close. Yeah. Somebody's going to like jump out and like trip him,
something.
like pull a cane out. Whoop.
Soto is just gonna come and hit him with the bat. But all
Stop
right.
there.
Regardless, I think we're fired up enough to get into opening day and not to
It's
like
opening
I'm just
day.
trying to bring us back to earth here. The fans are eager. They want to hear some predictions. They want to hear the rundown. Today is the day. The game is on in a couple hours. So I'd say, Ed, we dive right into our opening day preview and we simply start this out with a quick rundown of just this opening day matchup. So I know we previously touched on the opening week matchups in our last episode, but now I think the focus again is solely on today, the best day of the year, the national holiday that is opening day. So, Ed, what I'm thinking is we run through the matchups, kind of our realistic starting lineups based on what we've heard and what we know. Talk the official 26-man roster. If there's any surprises, any last minute injuries or ads. So with that, I will let Jeffrey the Giraffe from the Bronx go first. So I'll pass it your way.
You're gonna hear crickets. There's no Jeffrey to the draft. I don't know who you're talking about. It's all right. I'll step in for Jeffrey here. Make him look a little better than your Mets have, and give Yankee fans something to get excited about. Because, like you said, Alec, it is opening day, and we are leading off with a catcher for the first time in our
Ooh,
organization's history. It's been announced that Austin Wells has got the leadoff spot for tomorrow against Freddie Peralta. I think we already know my opinion on it. I wanted Cody Bellinger. But that said, the lineup that I've seen being trotted out there looks like this: Wells leading off, catching, batting left, batting second, Aaron Judge, the captain, right field, batting third, Cody Bellinger. As I said, I would flip flop Wells and Bellinger depending on the matchups, but here we go. Bellinger batting third, playing center field, and obviously left handed bat. Paul Goldschmidt, newly acquired, veteran, cleaning up, right handed bat, lefty bat, Jazz Chisholm playing second base, batting fifth. And beyond that, it's looking like Jason Dominguez possibly batting sixth in left field, Anthony Volpe following him out of the seventh slot at short, Ben Rice eighth in the DH slot, and batting ninth, Oswaldo Cabrera, the third baseman, the switch hitter, all backing up their starter, Carlos Rodon, who will get his first Yankee opening day start. So, pretty good lineup. I like the balance we've gotten it. Apparently, we're looking for a right-handed bat as we speak, so the Yankees aren't even completely done with their roster shape-up. But I don't hate the lineup. I just think I would have liked what I had proposed a little better. And again, going defense first, giving Dominguez a chance to DH instead, get Grisham a game in there early on, play his former team. Um, Supposed to be a nice day, so hopefully we don't have any issues in terms of weather or too much wind, too much sun. But all those factors will just come as they go. So that said, Cody Bellinger, I think, is going to have a great game. He's 5 for 12 against Peralta in his lifetime.
is that your
The
standout
That's
player of
my
the day?
standout guy. He's going to be Cody Bellinger. I want to give you like a 1 and a 1A because I feel like Jazz could also be the guy, but
Yeah, give
I'm
me a
going to give
pitcher. Give me someone in that in that bullpen or someone who's gonna impress, whether it's the starter or
an
the bullpen
impactful
as
game.
well.
I mean, the thing you want to do if you work things out perfectly is you get like Devin Williams coming in, right? Faces the
Mm,
old team, lock it down,
close the
close
save.
game. No, that's what your boy Clay Holmes might have done, but no, Devin's gonna lock us in. No, so but I also think that would be better in game two. Nestor Cortez goes on Saturday, so how great would it be for, not for Nestor. We want to see him do well, but it'd be cool if the guy that got traded for him shut down a win there too. So, uh,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to think on the pitcher a little bit. I might have to come back to you after you
Okay.
give your Mets stuff, but I'm liking Bellinger again. He's got great career numbers against Peralta, probably the most in our lineup against Peralta experience wise, outside of Goldschmidt, who's 9 for 33. So 33 at bats versus Bellinger's 12. But Goldie, Jazz, and Bellinger all have good numbers, and everybody else has limited experience. So I'm just going to go with Bellinger because I wanted him to be my leadoff guy and a 417 average and a 1212 OPS against Peralta lifetime. So
Yeah, I mean,
there you go.
you hope that translates well into the regular season, Ed. As we have talked in plenty some is spring training, at the end of the day, it doesn't mean much, but at the same time, if you're
Listen,
looking at
those
the
are his numbers
yeah.
against Peralta, all right?
Oh, sorry, I had that twisted.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
tuning you out. Sorry about
I
that.
knew what you were doing. I felt it. I felt it coming.
It's
I
opening day.
needed
I'm
to
thinking
wrap
about
my.
the Mets.
You got the Mets mind. It's already happened. It's all
No, I
messy.
apologize.
No, it's all good. But I do know where you're coming from. That said, Bellinger is coming off of another game yesterday in Miami at Marlins Park or Lone Depot Park, where he hit another home run straight to center field, straight away center field, which is deep,
D. Yeah, it's very deep.
right? So he's still hot, and we're getting some good weather. So again, I'm not saying he's rolling into it because he's hot. It's more just experience against Peralta, new Yankee, has wanted to be a Yankee his whole life. So I'm just going to give him the nod. He's not a guy I ever really wanted, but I'm starting to really appreciate what he adds to this roster and the game that he's obviously fine tuning and shaping into the player he's turning into in the next half of his career.
Yeah, no, I like that. And you know what? I'll let you think on Pitcher, if there's one, again, don't force it. But I'll kind of grab that from you and run with it and kind of give you
Yeah,
my Mets quick rundown here.
please do.
Um,
Won't be as good, but go for it.
it won't be as good. Wait for the first headline. So on the Mets side, the main headline, obviously, we know is Juan Soto, and the first of many games he is going to be playing in a Mets uniform. As we know, myself included, the fan base is jacked up. But how can we not be jacked up to see Juan Soto in a Mets uniform? I've wanted him since I've seen him playing in this league at 19 years old, and just crushing as a national. And I've wanted him so bad ever since that gimmick that was posted. I forgot when that was posted, a few years ago, right? Where he posted some weird discreet message of him wanting to play in New York, and then he went to the Yankees, and I was so heartbroken. And now he's a Met.
Hey,
So it all
sometimes it
worked
works
out.
out. Funny
Yeah,
that you say that. Quick interruption. I was going through
please.
pictures from COVID baseball year, right? Where it was like
Mm-hmm.
pretty empty. And I just found one where I'm like kicking my feet up on a chair, taking advantage of all the room I have. Like I'm in my living room watching baseball because no one was there. It was kind of a cool, weird time. Not that
Yeah.
COVID was, but watching baseball in that. And Juan Soto is in the picture. He's still with the Nationals. He's in the on deck circle. It's just this weird sort of like juxtaposition of watching him in a Nationals uniform at Yankee Stadium. Now he's with you. We're doing this podcast. It just kind of it tripped me up today to look at that
You know
and
what? Full
how
circle.
quickly
That's
things change. Yeah,
Yeah, that's what baseball does. It's a beautiful thing, right? It's always coming full circle in baseball.
ain't that the
And
truth?
in this case, it works out for us. But at the end of the day, he's
Back to Juan
obviously
Soto.
back to Juan Soto. He's the main headline. But I'm also really excited. And my second big headline here is just watching Clay Holmes. I know we've talked about him a lot, episode over episode, and how could we not, based on his spring domination as a starter? But the hope is that it's going to translate right away into the regular season. So, today we got Holmes against Frember Valdez, so we get to see a lefty right away. Where we actually fared better last season in 2024. We hit 256 versus lefty starters, whereas we were 243 against righty starters. I know it's not too big of a drop off, but just something to note. And yeah, the lineup that I think we're going to be rolling out because there is a lefty on the mound, I'll quickly run through it. And I got some notes to add in there is Lindor at shortstop, Soto in right field, Alonso at first base. That top three is a given. That will probably be what we're going to be seeing most of the season. Four hole is Vientos at third, five, Nimmo in left field. And this is where I want to make the note is six. It's going to be Starling Marte getting the nod at DH over Winker just simply because he's a lefty masher. He's
Hmm.
looking very healthy at the dish. And again, lefty starter on the mound. So I love to see Marte starting on opening day. The seven hole, I have Jose Siri, who I'm actually also really excited to see in this lineup in a Mets uniform. I think he's going to add a lot of thump and spark to the bottom of that lineup. With Alvarez on the shelf, we got Luis Torrens, our catcher and backstop in the eight hole, who is just great with starting pitchers, great arm, and he's just really trustworthy behind the plate. Whatever he does with the bat is an added bonus. And then in the nine hole, I know how I've talked a lot also about Brett Beatty, how he's going to get most of the playing time at second base with Jeff injured on the shelf. But Luis Angel Acuna made this roster. I'm really happy about that.
Hey.
Lefty on the mound. I think Acuna is going to get the nod at second base on opening day simply because it is a lefty on the mound. But yeah, Ed. So that's my 1 through 9. I actually did want to ask you something though. Did you hear Acuna's comments that he made the other day? That Lindor kind of threw him under the bus a little bit.
Oh
Um,
no, what happened?
nothing really that bad. It's kind of just like Lindor was saying. He's talking to Acuna, and he really just looks like he's not, and these are my this is my interpretation of the conversation, but it looks like he's just not trying, right? He doesn't care
Mm,
because it's like guys with a lot of talent. We've seen this, right? Where they don't care about the minor leagues or spring training. They're ready for the big games, the games under the lights, the games that matter. But at the end
right,
of the day, you need to still do something to prove that you should be at that level, which he
right.
did, again, towards the back end of last year. So I think maybe that's where his mindset's at. But I just don't think that was really the smartest thing to say. And I was actually worried that it might disallow him from getting added to this roster just because of the way he went about it and kind of just saying that he's just lazy when it's spring and when it's the minor leagues. Essentially, like you're going to a job interview, but you just don't care that much because it doesn't matter. You're not working there yet, kind of thing.
Right. And
Um,
but to hear
yeah,
that from the team captain too, who, takes his position very seriously, can also be seen as somebody who has a ton of talent and doesn't have to work necessarily that hard to get to the next level, that is a little damning and concerning.
yeah.
Absolutely.
I don't want to say Lindor threw him under the bus. I think that was wrong to say. He more so was just being transparent and honest as the team leader and
Gotcha.
captain, and in a way, kind of.
Like a
also
mentor, almost like pushing him through that immediate.
exactly.
Right.
Yeah, and then backed it up a little bit by like, hey, a lot of guys with a lot of talent, like you threw this in there, they just don't really care about the minor leagues, they don't care
Mm,
about spring. They want to prove it under the lights and all these things. So it was a little funky, but regardless, nonetheless, I'm so excited to see him. We know what's in that DNA. We know who his brother is. We know what he did in September last year when it mattered. So he could
absolutely.
obviously do it on the big stage. So we'll see. But that was just a fun little thing I wanted to bring up there.
Yeah, no, good note, and something you definitely don't want to hear right away because you want to know that, he's just as into it as, again, your leader or the rest of the team who's trying to make it.
Yep,
But again, the fact is he does have freakish athletic talent that jumps off the page, and if you can have that on your bench and he can learn at the big league level how to be a big leaguer, that's also great. And if
and
he's
he
got the mentality to say, I want to be here, I can be here, then sometimes the best thing is to bring him up and say, all right, prove it, because you can't let that mentality go fester in the minors. It's only going to ruin the development of the guys around him too.
exactly, and he's still so young. He still has a lot to learn. He's still very raw, but the talent's obviously there. We've seen it. So, just wanted to back up his words now, which I think he will, but time will tell. Clearly, we'll see soon. Um,
Absolutely.
but I'll wrap it up here just with my who I think is going to stand out today, and then I'll go back to you, Ed, if you got a pitcher. If not, we'll go into that kind of season outlook and full prediction. But for now, my standout player of the day on both sides of the ball, no surprises really here. It's Clay Holmes and Pete Alonso. So I think
Hey,
Holmes is going to dominate. He's going to go 6 innings, 1 run ball, with Pete leading the way with a double, a homer, driving in 3 runs. So that's more of a bold prediction, of
oh wow,
course.
you're going straight like stats. What's
Oh,
actually
I'm ready.
happening? Wow, look at you, man.
I'm ready, man. Well, you
I'm
know
copping
what?
out every which way.
Pete, it was a rough off season for a while there. We didn't know what was happening with Pete. We didn't know if he was coming back. He ended up being the hero in the wild card series and the playoffs. It changed our whole perspective on Pete. The Mets fans didn't want him back. We were selling him out. And then all of a sudden we really wanted him back. And then we didn't want him back. We were flip-flopping so much. And I'm guilty of it too. But now I'm really happy he's here. I think with the protection he has in this lineup, hitting behind Soto, he is going to see some really good pitches and he is going to dominate. And I think he's going to have one of his best years yet, honestly, in my opinion. So yeah, I mean, I think the Mets have to win simply based on the fact that again they hold the best opening day record in MLB history. So us Mets fans again, we're a little spoiled nowadays with opening day success, but we know one win is not going to win you the World Series. So it's a
But
long
the
way up.
times they're changing, so you never know. If you want to be like the big boys, maybe you got to lose on opening day here and there.
That's all right. If we lose opening day, I still have my hot dogs and baseball's still back. So it's a win in my book.
Absolutely. We'll find out in a few hours, but
Yes, we will.
I dig that.
You got a pitcher or what are you thinking?
I guess here's the thing. You're going with Clay Holmes. It feels like a good time to give Rodon, his flowers.
I
I
like it.
believe that he's always going to be a volatile pitcher. He's somebody I liked from afar, but I've always known him to be an up and down guy, year to year, start to start. So he's emotionally volatile. It's opening day, so maybe he'll just be hyped and will have an easy time against these Brewers. I don't know. Yeah. Hmm. I'll give it to Rodon. You know what? He has moments, and he often will start the season really sharp and then go through a bit of a lull and then come back. So I'll give it to Rodon because he's your only, guaranteed pitcher. But we'll throw Devin Williams in there, and I'll give Rodon. I'll give him 5 2/3. I'm not gonna give him a full six because I know
I
the
like
Yankees are
it.
going to be protective. All right, and we'll see some cleanup work from some of our newer pieces. Maybe a Fernando Cruz, get a
Mm.
little righty action in there, keep the flames throwing, and we'll finish her off with Devin Williams, who will close it out. Get us a nice tidy, let's call it a 3-1 win.
Ooh,
I'm liking it.
you're going score prediction. I like it. You trump
Oh
me
yeah,
there.
yeah. Why not?
Um,
I had to get a little sexy with it.
I like that. I like that. But I will say to that, Ed, you make a good point. I'm being pretty optimistic that Clay Holmes is about to go 6 innings, a newly converted starter on opening day. I mean, I'll be lucky if he gets 5 in, but regardless, they'll piece it together with the stronger bullpen they have now with Reed Garrett and Stanek in the middle innings. Minter did make the opening day roster. Obviously, him and Diaz to close it out. Um, so yeah, man, something I actually did want to know. I know we're talking injuries, and I completely overlooked this, and it's kind of an interesting one.
Hmm.
And then we'll move on here. But Paul Blackburn's actually going to start the season on the 15-day IL. with
Ooh.
knee soreness in air quotes. I think this is strategic because he has no more options left. I don't think they want to, release the
Uh,
guy or, have a chance to lose him on the
a little
waivers.
roster manipulation never hurt anybody.
Exactly. And you got Max Kranick and Yaskar Brazaban who made the team, Hayden Singer as the backup catcher, and like some feel good stories. And we were talking about it offline is real fast. Hayden Singer's been in the organization for 7 years, and
Dude,
he
he
finally, dude.
he had a
Wait, sorry.
game against us the other day.
He did. He hit a home run,
Yeah.
right?
Home run and two caught stealings in an inning. It was mind blowing.
Yeah.
I was like, who is
And
this guy? He better not make it.
he's a backup catcher until Alvarez is back. So then you don't know what's going to happen with him. But at the same time, I'm just happy for the guy. Again, drafted 7 years ago, just to keep his dream alive. They said he was working at Whole Foods in the offseason, and now he's on the opening day big league roster. So that must feel
Yeah,
good for him, man.
your own personal JC Escada. So there you go.
Exactly. Again, full
Full
circle.
circle. Love it.
Um, and yeah,
Good for
even
him.
another one, Max Kranick grew up a Mets fan, attended games at Shea Stadium, and David Wright, like me, was his favorite player, and he's on the Mets roster. So a lot of feel good stories, and that's the beauty of opening
Hey.
day too. I think.
Well, did you know that Max
Please,
Kranick's favorite podcaster is Alex Schwartz?
maybe not yet.
Isn't
Hopefully
that
soon.
crazy?
That is pretty crazy. Though. Does he want my autograph or something? I got a few balls laying around.
Yeah, well, you keep those where you have them. All right.
I need one.
Um,
I think Lance might need one. Completely off topic, but you get what I'm saying.
give Cheryl Crow a call. I think she's got it in a case somewhere.
That's crazy, but you're probably right. But not to get us too sidetracked, I just wanted to again highlight some feel good moments. I think that's also the beauty of the baseball season kicking off and some of these guys who we didn't know about who make the team, and now we get to know their story and what it's taken them to get here. So good for them.
Yeah, I
Um,
love that.
yeah. So yeah, Ed, I think this is the big time. This is the big segment, right? This is our season outlook. This is our full prediction. We are going to lay it out here: win totals, team MVPs, and team Cy Youngs, league wide MVPs and Cy Youngs, and of course the crazy World Series prediction before the season starts. Ed hates it. He's superstitious like me.
I hate that.
I'm making him do it though.
As long as everybody knows I'm not doing it willingly.
That's fair. Yeah, yeah. He has to. He signed a signed a contract. So
Yes, it's with the devil, and we'll talk about that later. The same one that Mets that Juan Soto signed. But I do want to go
oh,
back one
please.
point really quickly, just to back up my Rodon point, maybe having a great game. Not a lot of the Brewers have a ton of experience against him. Ones that do, Churio, 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Yelich, 1 for 7 with a double, 147 average. William Contreras, 163 batting average, 2 strikeouts. Reese Hoskins is the one with the most success, 3 for 9 with a 333 and a home run. And Joey Ortiz is the only other guy in that lineup with experience who is 1 for 2 with a double and a strikeout. So,
Mm,
not a lot of experience, and you got a lot of guys who have a lot of Ks or just offers in there. So, I like that prediction even better now. But
okay.
now we can go back
Well,
to our regular scheduled programming.
I will say one thing to that, and then we'll move on. But the proof will be in your Yankees gross tiramisu bucket. But I
There
guess
you
we'll
go.
see.
That'll be the most glorious, melty.
Oh,
I don't even know what, but it's gonna be so good.
I
I'm
mean,
just
in
gonna see
April,
people eating it like horses out of like a bag of feed. You know what I mean? Just straight in the helmet.
you're gonna see some people going in bare hands after a few beers. You know it.
Can't wait. Can't
Uh,
wait
but so Ed, I like that.
for the good stuff.
I like that add on there. I mean, I'm excited to see what he'll do too. As a Mets fan, I could admit that as a proud baseball fan. But
There you go.
I think we've talked kind of in a great deal over the past few episodes again about our strengths and weaknesses as a team. So I
Mhm.
think we should be brief here because I think the fans are itching for our predictions. But I'll quickly just go here and just reiterate kind of what I highlighted as our strengths, weaknesses, and X factors heading into the season, and I'll pass it your way. But yeah, the lineup depth. I keep doing that.
Depth of your lineup.
The depth. I mean, it's going to be deathly, but the lineup depth, it's dangerous. It's definitely the biggest strength of this team. I think we could easily average 5+ runs a game with a handful of guys who low key could go ahead and thump 30 home runs this season. I don't think that's an exaggeration. Um, of course, the weakness continues to be the starting rotation, especially with the injuries and all the question marks that come with it, with Sanga's health, Holmes being converted to a starter, David Peterson trying to keep up build on his 2024 campaign. But yeah, I have faith in Holmes, Sang, and Peterson to be our anchors while we await those reinforcements. But I guess we will see. And Ed, my X factor, it's gonna be the back end of this bullpen. And I know I've shit on Diaz, but I still trust Diaz, even though he's gonna again make me go bald. But if Minter and Diaz are sharp and both play at an all-star level, we should win a lot of games because we'll score a lot of runs if we hold that lead late with a strong back end of the pen, the opportunity is going to be there. So Ed, that's where I'm
I
at.
like it. Good call. All right. Well, yeah, you're definitely going to have to rely on that. And there's some fears, it sounds like already with Diaz, as you've already mentioned. So it is
Mm,
fragile, but it doesn't mean that it can't be bolstered or at least the confidence can't return to everyone in there because you do have some depth. And we all know what David Stearns has done to a lot of pitchers, or I should say Jeremy Hefner, right?
the goat.
The goat. Well, Matt Blake might have something to say about that. And to that, we will turn the attention to the Yankees. And I will say an obvious weakness right now probably looks like the starting rotation, right? I don't think
Look at that.
anybody
We
thought that
share
coming
a
into it.
common theme here.
Go figure. Go figure. I see. I still see it as not a weakness, but I think if there's one that you had to identify right now, that would be it. I think defense is something that's improved, but still want to make sure that everybody's playing in position. We'll have to see how the defensive improvements from Dominguez out there. We got Cabrera penciled into third base, who's solid but not a perfect defender, and he plays all over the field as well. So again, you want to make sure that that's shored up in that area. And Jazz returning to second base, where we know Glaber had some struggles defensively, but Jazz should returning to his premier position or his primary position, be able to turn that around. And we're going back to a defensive premium in right field where we were lacking last year with Juan Soto and returning Aaron Judge to his rightful position. We all know how great he is out there, and Cody Bellinger will again add exceptional defense to center field and at first base. Paul Goldschmidt, Gold Glover. So again, defense is one of those real great strengths that we've added, and we all know that the pop is something the Yankees always have. But I do believe what one of our sort of underrated X factors in this all bullpen is going to be one of the dominant forces. So I'm not even going to say them. Um, I believe it's our contact ability.
Mm,
I don't, it sounds silly or, odd, but, and very micro. However, I think we're going to make better contact. We're going to produce runs better. We're not going to wait for home runs as much. I know we did a little more of that last year, but I think 1 through 9 were a little bit more consistent, a little more well rounded. And I just think that we've addressed some of those issues to ensure that we're not going to have, 2 or 3 spots in the lineup that aren't going to be able to get the run home or at least move the runners up. So I think those are areas that we've greatly addressed. And I think specifically, our greatest strength is always going to be our lineup. So, um, yeah, that's the thing I look
sorry,
to as being the biggest change.
sorry, Ed, not to interrupt you or cut
No,
you off. 'Cause
please.
I know you're on a roll here, but I like that on the side of contact. I feel like it's old school baseball right now. As we know, we're in that boomer bust era where it's home run or strikeout, and it's weird
And
because
it's
that's where
changing, but
it
yeah.
is changing. That's where we've been the past few years, but now it's getting away from that again. We're trying to go back to classic old school baseball where we're starting to look more to the OBP and the OPS, and we're trying to get people on base. We're trying to move the runner over, and I love that personally.
And that's the irony in it all, right? Is like it's baseball was looking for ways to make the game more dynamic and engaging for fans, right? We shortened
Mm,
it and we added the extra base, the bigger bases, but the rationale behind the bigger bases and things like that was to encourage running, was to encourage small ball. We
yep,
are inherently tired of, chicks dig the long ball. Okay, great, but we all do. But I'm tired of waiting for it with 15 strikeouts in between. So the Yankees
yeah,
lineup has been a bit of that too much in the last few years, even with their success. If they just had figured out ways to implement more of a contact strategy and moving the runners along type strategy, I think they would have won a World Series or two by now. It's just there's always that one missing piece. And as much as Juan Soto helped us last year, he did not necessarily offer all of that either. So
that's
I know
fair.
that's controversial, but I think there's something to this that we'll talk more about. But the Yankees kind of went about their roster restructuring in a way that Moneyball might have gone about it, right?
Or
And the A's did,
The
or the
Brewers do
Brewers,
this. Yeah,
any organization, the Rays, the Brewers, these organizations that are usually cash strapped. Well, the Yankees are cash strapped in a way. They've committed a ton of funding to 4 big players. The rest, well, we're gonna have to make do, and it's their own constraints. We know how valuable they are and all that, but they're going that way in replacing, what they've lost with Juan Soto. They're looking to add defense to prevent runs from, that already scored by worse defenders, um, and replacing the offensive production with multiple bats that play stronger defense, right? And all around the field, and it lengthens the lineup. You're not getting a Verdugo in left field who's only hitting 12 home runs with a 220 on, average. You might lose defense there. So I'm kind of negating my point with Dominguez, but essentially you could tell what I'm saying. They addressed
hmm
things, the deficits, the things they lost with other ways of filling in and making up for that production, which I think in the long run, 1 through 26, 1 through 9, however you want to look at it, it makes us a more athletic, dynamic lineup and team that I think can not be as predictable as we go into this next season. So my X factor is really just the fact that our lineup has the ability to make more contact, more consistent contact, and has more athletic ability all around. So I think that's the X factor. I don't think it's any one facet. I don't think it's the offense, the defense, the I think it's all around. We just have a more athletic dynamic, and if we can continue with that athleticism up and down the lineup throughout the roster, we're just in a better place than we were last year.
Yeah, I think I could give credit where credit's due. And it's hard to say on opening day as a Mets fan, but I will say I think the Yankees went about the offseason in a really smart, strategic way. Obviously losing a huge piece in Juan Soto, but they've really filled that void to your point by addressing those areas that they needed to improve on and doing it in a really smart way. So, again, kudos to you.
Oh, thanks. Appreciate it. I did it all myself. Thank you.
You're welcome. I figured you played a big role in there, so I had to give you credit.
I got a line to cash. Sometimes he calls me in the middle of the night. I have to shut him up, but it's because he's stressed out. It's a hard job he's got out there.
I had to block his number. He just texted me way too much.
I was like, I don't want to lose my hair. All right, you've already lost yours. I'm keeping mine.
Well, Edwin Diaz is already doing that to me, so I don't need. Yeah. But Ed,
what do you got
now? This is the part we've all been waiting for. The part we've made the fans wait for. Our season-long predictions, our team win-loss totals, the team MVPs and team Cy Youngs. Then we're going to quickly highlight again league-wide MVP and Cy Young picks alongside our World Series predictions. But Ed, this is what I've been most excited about. This is what I'm really jacked up to run through. I mean, I'm standing up. Do you want me to? Can I just go?
Yeah, you gotta. I can hear it.
Oh man. So without further ado, this is again where the fans are gonna learn, and good and well. But I feel like I've had restraints throughout spring training. I'm a crazy Mets fan. I'm delirious. I'm optimistic. I'm not rational. When the season starts, it's game over. We'll get some friends on the pod to also attest to that. But Ed,
this is going to be unlistenable at some point.
No, the Mets fans want to hear it because we're winning 96 games this year, improving from the 89 wins last season. We are clinching the NL East for the first time since 2015. We're ready. What do you think?
Oh my God.
What do you think?
This is what happens every year. Anyone who's listening knows how this goes. Every single year. We're going to no one's heard that before. We've never heard that before. Dude, do you know how much of the 2006 team I've been seeing on Instagram, YouTube, whatever?
Yes, me too.
Different. It's always different. It's not different.
That team was great. That team was
worse. You're worse than you were last year. Your team is worse than it was last year.
No. I'm telling you. I will disagree respectfully. This team is so much deeper. Yeah, the rotation isn't as strong, but that bullpen is strong. We added that set of man. We added Juan Soto. There's more depth. We have a good DH split. We have better defense in center field than the outfield. I don't know.
You with your
I know you're going to say Juan Soto,
center fielder.
Nimmo.
Nimmo's got a bum knee. Juan Soto's got no excuse. He just doesn't know how to catch a fly ball.
Yeah, but we have Tyrone and Siri, both potential Gold Glove winners who
Gold Glove winners who will sit on the bench half the time. I don't understand.
Oh, here we go, Ed. Here we go. Jose Siri will be our starting center fielder. Tyrone will spell Nimmo in left field. Boom, you got left and center. Awesome Gold Glove. Alonso's Gold Glove. Lindor's Gold Glove. Torren's Gold Glove. Give them all a Gold Glove. Viento's improved at third. Oh, man, I'm ready to go.
You sound like Cubs fans, too, man. Cubs fans are coming into this all excited this year. Like, we got Kyle Tucker, Nico Horner. We're going to win 5 Gold Gloves. Ian Happ's going to win one.
They are dangerous. They are dangerous.
They are. They're sneaky. They're going to be a really interesting and fun team to watch.
But Ed, so
I like the energy, man. I like it.
You're going to hate this even more. You're going to hate this. All the Yankee fans are just rolling their eyes because it's going to get bad. So I know I just gave.
I'm just going to take a break. I'll be back in 5 minutes. All right?
Yeah, I'll see you soon. But you know how I gave the predictions on the win totals and where we're going to go. So my team MVP and team Cy Youngs. You ready for these stats?
You're giving me stats too. Jesus.
Well, just real quick, nothing crazy. But team MVP.
Go. Yep.
Pete Alonso.
I'm not giving you numbers. All right, Pete Alonso.
You don't have to. Pete Alonso again. Slashing.
Oh, why not? Why not Juan? What happened? I thought he was your.
Juan's gonna have a great season, but Pete Alonso batting behind Juan. We know the pitches he's gonna see. Okay. We know the protection that there is, and he is going to be slashing 40+ homers. And this is the crazy take, but I love it. He is going to beat out his 2022 RBI total, where he had 131 RBIs, mind you, which is already a ton. And he's going to beat it out with a whopping 141. And I'm telling you, there's going to be opportunities to mash in this order. There's going to be no more pressure on him. That playoff momentum is sure to carry over after he had such, obviously the huge home run in the wild card round, but a good playoffs in general. There's no more pressure. He signed with us. He knows where he is. He knows his identity now. he's happy, and it's a deep lineup where he might be able to hide out a little bit.
Right.
That's my team MVP. He's gonna have a huge, huge season.
I like that, and it's a nice, homecoming. He had all this drama, right? And now it's all off his polar bear shoulders. So it's
Yeah,
nice for him
exactly.
to, settle in and be welcomed back to a home that he's made for himself, and the fans have truly grown to love him, it seems. So
Yeah, it's not
I
just
like
him
that.
it's not just him anymore. He could kind of just play in the shadows and really just be himself now and be that goofy, weird guy who just hits home runs. So let's see.
Exactly. Yep. Doesn't need to be the face anymore. I like that. All right.
Yep. So I'm glad we are in agreement.
I don't know if I'm in agreement, but
In
I like where you're
agreement.
coming from. It's fine. Yeah, that's good.
Um, Team Cy Young, I think, is a fair one that I think we could all get behind. It's David Peterson. He came in the
Oh,
clutch. Yeah, came
Petey.
Petey, Big Pete came in the clutch in 2024. He posted a 2.9 ERA and followed it up with a 2.96 ERA in the playoffs. The regular season, he had 121 innings, again, coming off this hip surgery. He's due to really continue that 2024 success and carry that over into 2025 if he's healthy. That's the big key here. But he
Oh,
is
yeah.
still in the prime of his career. Everyone thinks he's much older than he is. He's only 29. So look out because the hefty lefty, he's got it figured out now.
Dude, speaking of hefty lefty, there was a minor league picture of him where he looks like a completely different person. I think it's when
Oh,
he's in
yeah.
Port St. Lucie. Long hair, gut, like dude has
Yeah.
completely shifted his appearance. I like it.
Dude, he's huge. He's a scary presence on the mound. He's underrated. Very underrated, I
Yeah, I had
think.
no idea. I've always kind of just written him off as, you're all right. You're a solid three, but
That's what I said too. And I didn't think he was even going to be a part of this rotation. But sometimes you just need a little surgery. Sometimes you need to identify what's wrong. And the hips play a huge role, as we know, in rotation and pitching in general. So
true, true.
clearly it's stuck in 2024. Let's see if that really is the X factor for him. But I
As
know I
long as
just
his hips aren't stuck in 2024, you're in good shape.
that's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm not hoping. Um, but yeah, before I get into just the league wide stuff and our World Series predictions, I want to give you the chance to get hyped to give your unrealistic
Woo!
Yankee expectations.
All
So
right.
Ed, where are we at?
Give her a shot. Well, it's so funny that you say unrealistic expectations. Um,
You
it's
caught
funny
that?
that you said 90. I did. You said 96 wins, which is now I'm feeling badly about my prediction, and I almost got a jumper up one. I had 95 and 67. It's
Ooh,
one more win than we had last year, which I thought was a little bit of a conservative pick. I had 96 penciled in first, believe it or not. But I thought, you know what? We didn't necessarily become the perfect team, and I guess that's why I didn't add 100 wins. But I also know our division is just going to be brutal. Up and down the AL East, every single team is going to kick the shit out of each other. So I have a hard time believing we're going to run away with it, but I do believe we're winning our division. That said, every team has gotten better in a way. Even if Tampa doesn't seem like they did a whole lot, they added Hassan Kim, who's a really good, versatile player. But any given year, they could do absolutely nothing and then shock you with who they're wiping the floor with you with. So that said, that's my record. That's my prediction. I think we're going to go back to the World Series. I don't know if we're going to win it again. I don't know if we're going to win it, but I think we
okay.
got some redemption in our bones.
Real,
There's something
real
that's hungry about this team.
sorry, not to cut you off, but
No,
you really
please.
brought me. You really, this is what you do, and I appreciate it. But you brought me back to earth so quick on this because right when you ran through that Yankees prediction, you're talking about the division strength, which I know the NL East is also super strong.
This is
And then you
why
had me
Yankee fans
thinking
are
about the
needed in
Mets
this city.
rotation. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you got to humble us, I guess. But you know what? I'm sticking to my guns here, but I just want to put my 2 cents on that.
When good things don't come all the time, it's easy to get a big head about it. Yeah, but when you've lived this life of luxury for as many years as you might consider I might have, no,
Hmm, I
when you've
see.
seen it go the way I've seen it go, and when you're a team that is consistently expected to do well, you do wind up almost having a more negative outlook on things. And it's easy for me every year to look at the Yankees and say, I don't know that they did enough. But every year they do exactly what they need to get you just close enough. And what we're needing is something to get over the hump. And I don't know if it's the attitude. I don't know if it's the shit talking the Dodgers did last year or the way the Mets are trying to take over the city, quote unquote.
Nemo's all
Brandon
over
Nimmo
that.
with, yeah, exactly. Nimmo's comments. And listen, you can come up with whatever motivations you want, external, internal, whatever they are. But all that stuff doesn't mean anything to the Yankees. What anything means to the Yankees is their own business and their own legacies and their own, again, I guess, ego at this point because you continue to come after them and talk to them like they're somehow redheaded stepchildren because, oh, they have all this money and look what they've done. No, what they've done has been the most consistently good team for 20 plus years. They're still one of the best team in baseball. They're just not getting over the hump, and I think they're going to get tired of it. And I think Judge is going to have a moment where you've gotten as low as you can get. I don't know if you're going to get any lower than the World Series was last year. So let's just run with it, baby. So I think they can do it. I don't know that they're going to do it. I'm feeling strongly that they're going to have a good clubhouse chemistry, good makeup, and then they're going to go into the season feeling like underdogs for the first time in a while. And I think that gives them the edge in this season.
That's a good point because that does worry me. I think to your point earlier about all the gimmicks and the Juan Soto noise and all these things, I just don't want the Mets to lose sight of the goal, right? The goal is to put
Mm-hmm.
together a strong regular season, build a dynasty. But to build a dynasty, you have to win one.
Yep.
And they haven't done that in a long time.
No,
So,
and your only guy that's won one really, if you're looking at your lineup, is Juan Soto.
yeah,
And he didn't make that big a difference for us last year. So, Lindor's been there. Sometimes having a guy that's done it and is unflappable, right? That's impactful. But we can see that Juan Soto didn't necessarily make that big a difference in the World Series for us last year. So
in the World
never,
Series, but he
you never
got
know.
you there. He helped you
You
get
can
you
keep
there.
saying
He
he
had
got us
41
there.
home runs. He
No,
had
no,
a
no.
great
He didn't get
season.
us there. Giancarlo Stanton got us there. Juan Soto
Okay.
had one big home run in the
Let's
playoffs, but
let
otherwise his performance was not setting the earth on fire. He was fine. He's a good player, man. But
he's a
he's a
great
280
player.
hitter with 39 home runs. He hit 41. He's not going to hit 40 at Citi Field.
He's gonna hit
He
40 left center is short.
he also was being driven in by what he was backed up by Aaron Judge, and Aaron Judge had a better season than him. So listen,
Pete Alonso, hence my Pete Alonso pick.
great, but then Pete Alonso is going to have a great year. Great,
Yep.
great. But
Yep.
if
Yep.
you're saying, but in that logic, shouldn't Juan Soto, if he's the guy, shouldn't he be the one that's having a better season than Aaron Judge when you got literally Aaron Judge backing you up? You get what I mean? So
I do,
listen,
I do, but I will say, let's table this because Juan Soto, he is, dude, he's a generational talent. He's not just an okay player. He's a
he's a
great
generational
player.
walker. Yeah, he's a
Yeah,
generational
the walks
walker.
are the
That's
walks
it.
are great. The walks are great.
Sure.
And get this, Pete is gonna get red hot, and this is what's gonna happen.
Paul
Pete's gonna
O'Neill
get
has a similar Paul O'Neill. Paul O'Neill has a similar on base percentage to Juan Soto.
yeah,
Think
that's
about that.
cool. And he's
No, but
retired.
no, but
But
that's
Juan
my
Soto's
point.
in his prime, just getting to his prime.
He's a
Everyone forgets
standout
that.
in a completely different time in baseball's history. That's all it is. He's just okay. 363 for
Yeah,
Paul
yeah.
O'Neill. But however, the
Okay.
point is
Yeah, exactly.
it doesn't 363 is still pretty good. Point is there are plenty of 400 on base guys that are not Hall of Famers or considered generational talents. And the fact that he walks as frequently as he does not make him the greatest hitter of his generation. I'm
No, but
sorry. I got to push back on that.
that's fair. Please push back. But I will say this: Pete gets hot, Vientos gets hot, these guys behind him, no one gets hot. People are going to have to pitch to him. Yeah, he's going to draw a lot of walks, but I guarantee you, and this is not even a bold prediction. This is just a realistic prediction here. He is going to have one of the best years of his career because one, he's just getting into his prime now. He is
Mm,
literally still only 26
true.
years old. People
Yeah.
forget that. He's been in the league long enough where you could think the guy's 35. He's
Yeah, it's
literally
kind of
just getting
insane.
into his
He also
prime.
looks like
So
he's 35,
he
so
does look
he
old.
looks
He
older than
does.
I do.
He
Like it's
does.
ridiculous.
But let's table this and see how we're doing in 2 weeks and
Yeah, got a
how
little hot. Got a
that
little hot.
temperature. I got
Sorry,
hot.
sorry.
But let's hear who your MVP and Cy Young on the Yankees are going to be to help you lose in the World Series this year to the Mets.
Well, it's going to be Aaron Judge because he's going to be the league-wide MVP as well. Just another easy
Mm,
prediction for that. He's the
okay,
greatest player on the planet right now. You can tell me Shohei Ohtani is. I will give you every reason why he's not. Doesn't play defense. But
that's fair.
let's continue from there. Uh, so he'll be our obvious MVP. And our Cy Young, you know what? You got to go with Max Fried. You gave him the big bucks. He's coming over to do something to fill in for Garrett Cole now, which is not what anybody had pictured coming into the season. However, he's got the pedigree. He's got the playoff experience. He's a lefty at Yankee Stadium, which always plays well. He's even learning Andy Pettit's pickoff move. There were two beautiful pickoff moves in his last spring start or his last two, but working with Andy closely to learn that Hall of Fame caliber move. And I like his makeup, man. He seems unflappable. He's got the right mentality. He's obviously got all the stuff you need. It's just a matter of when coming to New York and having a big name starter. I mean, we've seen it happen time and time again where guys cannot cut it. I think Freed's got the right mentality. He's got a slow heartbeat, as we've talked about plenty, And yeah, what else can you say about him? He's going to be the MVP or the Cy Young for the team.
I like that. I like that. I think that's a good pick and a reliable pick. And I don't like the guy because he was a Brave and now he's a Yankee, but he's a solid lefty. And again, I always have a soft spot in my heart for lefties, so
There you
I'm
go.
excited to see what he could do.
I like it, man. So yeah, enough nice talk now, but
Okay.
I think those are good things, but we can go to the league wide stuff. How you thinking?
Yeah, I'm thinking. I hate this. I hate this so much. I hate this, but I have to do this justice, and I can't just favor the Mets here. And I want to say Soto, or I want to say Alonso, or I even want to say Kyle Tucker, but I have to say it's going to be Otani just because
Ugh. That's
I
such a
hate.
bad look for the game, dude. It's getting
It's
bad.
such a bad look, but like, how could he not win if he does what he did last year? I know he's not playing defense, but again, if
Yeah.
even if he pitches too this year, I mean,
I,
that's
I hate to say this, Lindor deserved the MVP last year.
Lindor did, and he really did, and Ketel Marte was up there too. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I don't know. I mean, Ellie De La Cruz also a guy who could sneak in there with some votes this year, but
True.
Kyle Tucker again, I think he could really just surprise a lot of people. He's really a talented player, as we know, and a good fielder. So we'll see. I have to say Otani, which I hate again. So that's all I'm going to say with
Yeah.
that nonsense. So let's move on to the Cy Young because I'm done
See,
talking
if
about.
he were still in the
No
American
Otani glossing
League,
here.
I was gonna say if he was still in the American League, Aaron Judge would probably win the AL MVP. Is all I'm trying to tell you.
And that's fine. And then no Met could win the National League MVP. Then I could be a Mets favorite.
There you go.
NL Cy Young, I think comes into surprise is Paul Skeens.
Hmm.
I've not seen someone dominate like this kid did last year at such a young age, man. He had a sub 2 ERA, hit the baseball stage by storm. And I've drawn comparisons. I've heard people also draw comparisons to Jacob DeGrom. I mean, just being able to
Hmm.
one throw over 100 with ease consistently with really good control and command. His pitching IQ is really just off the charts, knowing when to pitch where and what counts. And plus, to top it all off, he has a nasty slider that just really throws hitters off. And he's insane. He's going to be doing this for years to come. It might not be his first Cy Young, and I don't know how I could pick somebody else in the NL right now.
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, there's plenty of
There
worthy
are.
candidates, but Skeens has got to be the guy that everybody's looking to right now with the way he set the world on fire last year. He is clearly a generational talent. He puts the work in, like he's got his routine down to a T. Reminds me of Roger Clemens in the way that he went about his business, and we all know how his career went. So,
Yeah.
save for some other things, but no, Skeens has got the big body. I mean, the legs on the dude. I'm talking like an old school scout at this point, like most of
Please.
the guys that got kicked out of the Moneyball movie. But he,
Yeah.
I still worry about a regression. For him, I can see that happening very easily just because you have some more data on him. Guys will get more familiar, more comfortable. And again, you just never know when a sophomore slump or if a sophomore slump can happen. It happens
Yeah.
all the time just because you get a little big headed. But he seems to have the right mentality about it all. Doesn't get too high or too low on anything, as we've seen with a lot of his interactions with his lovely girlfriend, Livy Dunn, on TV. Often looks very confused as to why he's on TV at all. But I like the pick. I like the pick. I
No,
do
yeah.
think that Freddie
Yeah.
Peralta is kind of a sneaky candidate, though. A guy
Ooh,
who's
that's a good dark horse. I really do like Freddie Peralta as well. I think he is a really reliable, solid starter. He definitely will get some MVP votes, I think, and I will agree with that dark horse pick. But like again, Paul Skeens just having the right head on his shoulders is so big to get out of this potential sophomore slump situation, and also he just has this pitchability, right?
right.
Where he knows how to pitch, regardless of what the analytics say. Like he is going to work you at the plate and he is going to keep you guessing and off balance the whole at bat. And he reminds me again of a Jacob DeGrom in his prime. And we'll see. He's also a big presence on the mound. He's intimidating. He doesn't really care about the outside noise or what people say about him. He's just playing ball. And he has, again, to your point, the right mentality and mindset and keeping it really simple. So
Absolutely. So
we'll
good
see.
pick. Good pick.
Thank you. So on the AL side, I know you already said Judge. It's no surprise, but what else you got?
So for our Cy Young, I think everyone and their mother is picking Tarek Skubal to win his second
Oh,
consecutive.
I love Scooble.
Listen, he's great. Another lefty, right? So
Yep.
he's definitely somebody that would be on the radar. I don't really believe in back-to-backs happening all that often. It does happen. It's not like it's Bigfoot. I do believe in back-to-backs. It's more that I don't see them happening as much anymore. So with that said, I'm going to go with a guy that I've always liked, especially for fantasy pickups, and I think is going to be a big part of what the Mariners do out west, is Logan Gilbert.
Ooh, that's a good pick.
So Logan is, not the sexiest all the time, but he does keep his walk rate very low. Struck out 220 last year, had a whip under point 0.9. So again, controls the lineup and dominate and the base paths, but really dominates them. In 33 starts last year, had 208 innings. It's rare that you get guys that surpass 200 innings anymore. Um, and again, a 3.23 ERA in the AL West. It's not an easy division to pitch against. I know we have hitter or pitchers ballparks, especially Seattle, as we've learned, especially in the offseason with their batter's eye being all wonky. Um, I don't know. Logan Gilbert just has the peripherals that you look at, and he's progressed every year he's been in the league. The team's pitching lab is just getting better every year. He had a 9-12 record last year because they couldn't support him, but a 3.23
Sounds like
ERA,
DeGrom.
right? So I just see him being a DeGrom-like figure for
Mm,
what my dad and I like to call the Mets West, which are the Mariners, and he's going
yep.
into his age 28 season. So there's my pick for your AL Cy Young
Ooh,
winner.
that's a good pick. I mean, that's also just again to your point, a deep rotation in general with
Dude, it
what
could
they
be
got
George
over there.
Kirby. Yeah, it could be George Kirby. It could
Brian
be Brian
Wu,
Wu. Yeah, exactly. Woo woo.
anybody. They might have three.
Yeah. So hey, the triple-headed pitching
Mm.
monster.
Be-
So yeah, we'll see.
Before we move into Ed to the World Series prediction, just honorable mention and Zach Wheeler, who also has potential to win the Cy Young. I wanted to
You
make
know,
note of that.
why do I never think of him? He's like criminally underrated.
So underrated, but he's a Philly, so I hate to give him credit. But he, again, we let him walk. That's on us. So we should have
Hmm.
kept him and signed him for long term because Zach Wheeler is a stud. And he, again, reliable as long as he's healthy. He's a strikeout machine. He's also a nasty, big presence on the mound and just has that pitchability as well. And he has potential to win that Cy Young. So I guess we'll see, but I hope he doesn't because that means he probably mows down the Mets a few times.
Well, funny that you should say that because we have somebody that I'm worried about being a potential candidate as well, Garrett Crochet, who
Yes,
went from the White Sox to the Red Sox and is, by everybody's measure, better than Chris Sale in terms of stuff and
I
ability.
think so.
So, from what I'm hearing, he's going to be destroying our lineup for years to come. It scares me, but he's just one starter, so he can't scare you forever.
That's fair. That's fair, but it's a
Anyway,
good honorable mention.
yeah, and it's his first year there, so I can't give it to him now, but he's somebody to watch, obviously.
No, I agree. I agree. But with that, Ed, I think we get a little crazy, even crazier than we've been with
No,
World
just a
Series
bit.
predictions. And this is the Big Apple battle. We do things big. We're doing big predictions. Like it's opening day. We're excited. Again, we talked about hope earlier on. Why not have it? So I will tell you
That's
who's
it.
going to win the World Series right now. You
I
ready?
hate this. Yes.
I know you
Excuse
hate
me. The
this.
dog is in the microphone now. If you can hear the snorts, it's all him.
Oh no, I don't hear him. I thought that was you. Yankee fans, you guys.
We're breathing
Um,
heavy. It's hard.
you're excited. That's okay. But you ready for this?
Exactly. Go
And
for it.
I know you're going to want to interrupt me, but please
Do
just
it.
let it happen. I'm sorry. The Red Sox will. You're gonna hate this. The Red Sox will beat the Yankees in the ALCS and then lose to the Mets in the World Series in 6 games. Who got there by beating the Dodgers in 7 in the NLCS? The Mets will be your 2025 World Series champions, and I will be running naked downtown in the streets of New York.
And our Instagram will be the first place you can see that. Be sure to follow the Big Apple Battle on Instagram. That is an absurd take all around. I don't know what's in your Kool-Aid, but clearly you think it's 1986 all over again.
I was not there for that, but it sounds like, yeah,
You weren't
sounds
there
like
for
it.
that. Well, 1986 is when you last won the World Series and you beat the Red Sox. So there you
No,
go. Just in case I needed to remind you.
no, no, I know that. I'm saying I wasn't there for that, so I need to now live it. I need to be the Red Sox. I need to see the ball go
Uh,
under Buckner's legs right now.
gotcha. He just YouTubed that right now, guys. I can tell you right. No, I'm
Yeah.
so that's a really bold prediction, and it's not something I necessarily hate the idea of if you're just
Oh
talking to
wow.
me as a
Respect.
non-biased baseball fan.
Okay.
However, I think even if I were as unbiased as I could be, I would not predict those two. I think they both have a year or two more to go before they reach that level. They
Fair.
both just have a couple question marks that they would have to address for me to say, okay, they can make it. But I get the optimism, and sorry for bashing your
No,
picks.
again, you're bringing me back down to earth. And again, to the fans listening, this is when I get crazy. The season starts today, so now it's game over. But I will reel it back. It's just the opening day predictions, so we all know how that goes. But
I was gonna
Ed,
say, and this is my third season with you doing this, so I'm just saying I know how you get,
yeah,
and
it's game over. It's game over. Temperature checks all around.
and you're gonna hear exactly how I go about it, which is, yeah, we're good, but we'll see. You got to do these things. So I'm gonna come at it from the more realistic perspective and
Please.
just be an honest Yankee fan because you can trust me, folks. You can trust me. I don't know about Alec, but you can trust me.
Yeah.
You can't spell trusting
Snake
without
oil
a.
salesman over there.
So cue the infomercial songs. But for my prediction, I told you already, I think the Yankees are going to go to the World Series, and I'm going to go with the Dodgers. I'm going to run it back. And I just
Ooh.
got, I'm doing what I said I wouldn't do before in predicting, back to back anything. But like 77 and 78, the Yankees played the Dodgers back to back years, and the Yankees won both of those. However, I think we're going to have a slight difference in that we will uh, overcome the most recent fall, and we will win it this year. Garrett Cole is going to be sitting on the bench, sadly, watching and supporting his team, but he's going to be the best secondary pitching coach anybody could have asked for, as Aaron Judge secures the last out in his glove to win the World Series and redeem all of the Bronx and
Ed,
Yankee Nation.
Ed,
We'll
what are
give
we
it seven
talking?
games. We'll give it 7 games.
Okay, but either way, you're coming in here saying we're going to be realistic. We're going to be the realistic fan, the honest fan, and you're telling me Yankees are going to win the World Series without Garrett Cole, and they're going to beat the Dodgers in seven. So you're also saying you're going to win the World Series, which I get and I respect it as
You
a
know why we're going to
diehard
win?
Yankee fan.
You know why?
But
We don't have Juan Soto anymore to screw up our
mm,
outfield defense. You know what I'm saying? We addressed our issues. We're set now. I don't know.
okay, okay, time will tell. Time will tell. I'll see you in October.
Hey, listen, I'm ready. I'm excited, baby. And you
I
know
can't
what?
wait.
The best thing that can happen is we ended it with a Subway Series, and we show you how 2000 went all over again.
Well, we're going to get to a Subway Series, and we're going to do some live kind of podcasting and questioning and guerrilla marketing, and that's going to be a crazy time. So I'm looking forward to that. And yeah,
Sure is.
you guys are going to want to tune in for that one. But Ed, I
And if it's
love
not the
this.
Dodgers, I'll take the Phillies. All right, no, we'll go there.
Oh, that's gross, but I digress. I love this. I think this is just an awesome thing to do for opening day is give these outlandish, bold predictions, what we're expecting, what we're anticipating, letting our childlike optimism out, at least for me.
Absolutely, I love it. Hey, you
That's what
got
it's
me to
all.
even get a little childlike here. I'm
Yeah,
coming out with some wild thoughts.
I got the Edmond getting giddy over there, and that's what it's all about.
I also want everybody to know that I'm very concerned I've jinxed myself by doing this. So if it does come to fruition, you have Alec to blame, and this podcast will cease to exist. So
And
thank you all
I
for your time.
exactly, and that was my intention the whole time. And I'm trying to do for me reverse psychology, reverse jinx, whatever you got to do. You know,
That's fair. Do whatever you need to do to, mess it up as you guys do for yourselves year in, year
well,
out.
Ed, we will see how it goes, and it is going to be starting in a few hours because our boys
Let's
from the
go.
Queens and Bronx are playing
From the Queens and
baseball
Bronx. We don't call it the Queens.
from Queens and the
And the
Bronx.
Bronx.
Excuse
Yeah,
me,
baby. That's it.
hanging on my grammar over here. That's what Yankee fans do again. Jab, 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 whatever. Besides the point, Ed, the hope is real, and now the games matter, and that's the best part about this. But I do want to wrap this up with segment three, and I know we've been doing like fun little game shows and hot takes, and this one's going to be a little fun too. So we're doing outlandish predictions, right? And that's kind
Mm,
of the theme here.
yes.
So I call this segment ridiculous or real because it is time for hot takes. Let's see who's cooking or who's just talking nonsense. And what we're going to do, we're going to each bring two bold takes real
Woo-hoo-hoo.
quick of our choosing. I will say the take to you, for example. You will react to this take and let me know if you think it's ridiculous or realistic without your bias in there as a Yankee fan and me as a Mets fan. For example, I might say to you, Ed, the Yankees won't finish in the top three of the AL East, and you tell me what you think. Is it
Get
ridiculous
wrecked.
or real? So again, that was not one I'm using. That was just a hypothetical, but
Ah,
again,
damn, I like that.
taking my jabs.
Let's go. Yeah,
Um,
see, exactly. Mets fans, you jab, we knock out. That's what
well, we
we
got
do.
okay. We got Jet back. Nimmo is in his villain era, so I got to be my villain era. So, I'll give one, you give one, and then I give one, you give one. What do you think?
Yeah, I
Trade
like it.
offs here.
Yeah, I think you should lead it off, though. I like it.
All right. So this is kind of I alluded to this, and I think foreshadowed this a little earlier. I think this is more of a realistic take, but again, this is for you to decide. So my first bold take is The Mets will have four guys this year in their lineup hit over 30 home runs, them being Lindor, Alonso, Soto, and Vientos. And this will be the first time in their history that they have done this. So, Ed,
Wow.
realistic or ridiculous?
Soto, Vientos, Alonso, Lindor. 30 home runs each.
Yep, first time in history. What do you think?
It's not
Is
too
it
crazy.
real?
That's
Okay,
pretty reasonable. Yeah. All right.
realistic? You'd say?
Yeah, I'd say it's reasonably rational prediction. I do believe one guy will get hurt and probably prevent it from happening.
Hmm.
However, I do think it's not a terrible pick, actually.
Well, it's funny because
Oddly grounded.
Lindor, I appreciate. Yeah, I'll be grounded is right for this episode. But I will say, I think Lindor honestly is the one who would hold us up here and hit 26, 27 home runs, which is just fine. But it's kind of a similar story where the Mets were so close to doing this. I forgot what year it was. I want to say, was it 06 or 07? It was
I
one
feel
of
like it
those.
was one of those. Yep.
It was, and David Wright, I think, finished with 27 home runs, and we love David Wright. He's the
No
captain, and
way.
yeah, and he's the one who didn't hit 30 that year, and he
It was like
just
Delgado, Cliff Floyd.
and Beltron, I think, had like
Ah,
40 or that year, and Delgado like 39
jeez.
or something crazy like that. And Wright couldn't hit 30. And I can see that happening with Lindor. I can see Vientos breaking out for 30, Soto and Alonso kind of a given in my eyes, if healthy, and then Lindor, that's going to be the X factor. So we'll see.
Unreal. All right, I like that. That's a nice prediction. That's a fun one. I think you
Thank
got
you.
a little sexier with these picks than I did because mine is
What
not
do you got?
nearly as exciting. I'm gonna go with Jason Dominguez wins Rookie of the Year.
I will say it's realistic because I know he is a freak athlete. I know he has always been a highly touted prospect, and I would say, in my opinion, as an unbiased Mets fan, sure, it's realistic, and
Yeah,
we'll see.
I know. See, like yours was like that was really
Yeah.
well thought out. I gotta go like dig into the archives and figure out what records we can be setting this year. But I feel like it's always one weird, obscure one about walks.
Well, lucky, yeah, lucky for you, it's a long season, so we'll have more games to play. So don't worry about it.
Exactly. When we get close to it, I'll start bringing out the encyclopedia.
We'll get ready for this next one because it's actually going to be insane, and it's a good way to wrap this up for me. It just comes full circle. My craziness this episode.
There we go. Let's do it.
Bold take again after all the worries I've had about this guy too. And it's a little more outlandish again based on his current trajectory. Edwin Diaz will have 100 plus strikeouts, but better yet, will break the single season save record of 63. Is that
Whoa!
realistic or ridiculous? We're
Oh
gonna have a lot
my
of leads, Ed.
goodness. Did he set it or did he finish just short of K-Rod's record? He set the record, didn't he?
Edwin Diaz did not set the
He didn't
saves
set the record.
record.
Not with the Mariners.
Let me do a little quick gut check here for us.
I feel like it was either K-Rod or he that had led or had set it. No, that was 57 saves, so never mind. I'm completely mistaken. But he was getting close. I remember him challenging for it at some point. So
Yeah, I
not
mean
completely crazy.
it's K Rod. It was 62, so you need
Yeah.
63 to win it. Diaz was close with the Mariners at 57 in 2018. That's what it was.
Yep, exactly. I
It's
just remember
close.
him approaching it. So hey, you're not completely out there. That's impressive.
But would you say it's realistic or ridiculous based on his current trajectory?
I would say that it is absurd.
Fair. I needed you to bring me back to earth in this one because it's pretty crazy.
But the person and his track record don't make it. It's just what's going on now. So I'll say it's got no chance of happening, but there's also this part of me that wants to believe in these stories because that's the baseball fan in me, right? The
Yeah,
child
back from the injury, and
eh,
he's yeah, all these things.
who believes anything can happen if, you just wish it into existence. So, hey, I don't hate that idea.
And I hope I didn't just jinx it where he blows the save the first game of the season today. But we'll see.
Oh, cool. That leads me to my prediction.
Please.
He will blow the first save appearance that he has in opening day. Yes, that's how it'll go.
Was
Edwin
that
Diaz. Yeah.
Oh, that was is that actually your
No,
second one?
that's not it.
I was like, that is ridiculous.
No, that's not gonna happen. But what would be a really see? This is my second one is not anywhere close to as good. So I feel
That's all
like,
right. You could use it.
all right, I will say Anthony Volpe will be the starting shortstop for the All-Star game,
Oh,
the
okay.
American League All-Star team.
I still say this is tough because I don't hate it. Again, as a Mets fan, I don't hate it. But again, like
See, I
you've
live in
Gunnar,
some form of reality. You
but
live in complete like
no,
different
no.
ends of the spectrum
But you have Gunnar Henderson. You have some big names out there. I would still
in our own
say
division. Yeah.
I say ridiculous. And ridiculous, I will say this ridiculous is the wrong word, but this is the game. I would say maybe unlikely. Is that fair?
Yeah, see, you're copping out a little bit, but I appreciate where
Yeah.
you're coming from. I do the same thing. I'm a little wishy-washy. I don't know, man. He's a Gold Glover already. He's got 20 home run pop. His best buddy's now the leadoff hitter. So I don't know. Maybe it's his third year. He just comes into himself and really takes off with this team being, his or feeling like it's, at least partly his now. He's not just
Mm.
the rookie. He's not the new guy. He's a familiar face. He's been there. It's his third opening day start. Um, I just think that he's ready to make some waves this year. And spring training wasn't necessarily perfect, but hey, like you said, didn't matter. Points didn't count.
That's it.
There we are.
You know what? I like it. I think it's a good way to wrap this up, Ed. And you know what? This is awesome. How could it be better? Today's opening day. We're doing a baseball podcast about our teams, the teams we love, the teams we grew up loving, the generational pass down of this fandom that we fully support with our whole heart. And we've been able to share it with our significant others, which is awesome. My wife is now a diehard Mets fan. Um,
Absolutely.
and I know,
Oh, Trish
Trish,
is absolutely, oh yeah. All
she's
about the Yankees.
all on board about the Yanks. And you know what? That's what makes it so fun, being able to share that with your loved ones and the ones close to us. So, Ed, not just Ed, New York baseball fans, that's a wrap for this episode 4 of the Big Apple Battle. And I want to say one thing: happy opening day, because I got to get out of here, and I'm sure you do too. We got to get the hot dogs on the grill. We got to prep for game 1 of 162. So we want
Yeah.
you to enjoy your rituals, and don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review wherever you get your podcasts, and hit us up on Instagram and keep up with the regular season action, because we're going to be with you guys all season long. So I'll say LGM. Ed, I will let you say your piece.
Get wrecked. And don't let these fans, Yankee fans, don't let these Mets fans tell you they're winning it all or it's their city yet. It's opening
Mm.
day. Remind them where they stand. Remind them that you are kings of this town and that the Yankees will forever reign supreme.
One last thing: we were 6-0 in the Subway Series last year. Regardless,
Jesus. It's
I had
terrible.
to get that in. Why am I doing this? Now I feel like I'm
Uh,
Brandon Nimmo over
uh,
here.
feel
No,
salty, whatever you're feeling. If you're feeling salty, I'm feeling salty. I'm gonna get a hot dog in me to be as salty as you're feeling these days. How's that
yeah,
sound?
you know what? I think I was just hungry this whole time. So you know what? I gotta go. It's hot dog time. It's baseball time. Let's go, Mets.
Let's
I'll catch
go.
you later. We'll catch you next time on the Big Apple Battle. Peace.
Opening day, baby.
This ball is crushed.